Okay, we are back on the record in this case and ready to work through the afternoon. Mr. Harris, you may proceed.
Your Honor, at this time we would call Gregory Simpson Jr. to the stand.
Remain standing and raise your right hand. Clerk will swear you.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Can you state your name and spell your last for the record, please, Greg?
Yes, my name is Gregory Arden Simpson Jr. It's S-I-M-P-S-O-N.
And Greg, do you live here in the Las Vegas area?
Yes, I do. I live out in the northwest part of town. I have a 2-bedroom house.
Okay. And who lives with you?
Just me and Nicole live together.
Okay. And how long have you been in that home?
I've been there for 3 years now.
And what do you do?
For employment?
Yeah.
I have been at a company called Weldall for the last 7 years.
I guess I'm going to jump back to your house. It is a 2-bedroom house, right?
Yes.
Nicole has her room?
Yes, she
You
has
have
her own
yours,
room.
is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And what school does she go to?
She goes to CVT Gilbert.
And what grade is she in?
She's in 4th grade.
Okay. And you work as a welder?
Yes.
Or,
Actually, I started off as a welder. I'm now running the whole electrical division and pulling all the permits for the company. Essentially a supervisor.
okay.
Company.
How long have you been working at the company?
I've been there for 7 years now.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, there in front of you, you have the binder?
Yep.
Okay. You submitted some exhibits for the, to be offered here, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you if you just look at Exhibit 1, which is GS1, in the exhibit binder there. Do you see GS1.001?
It's going to be the exhibit appendix.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's right. Before we get there, let me just ask you a couple more questions. Sorry, Greg. Who's your boss?
My boss is Dave Wallace.
Okay. How long have you known Dave Wallace?
7 years.
Okay. So essentially the whole time you've been there at the company.
Yes, correct.
And you started out as a welder.
Yes,
Okay, so you have that trade, ability to weld.
correct.
Anything else? Any other? Are you a certified welder? Do they get certified, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm certified. I'm
Okay.
engaged, yeah.
And so you can weld for, and I don't know, is there a difference between commercial jobs and residential, I don't know, union certification? Is there any difference between any of those things, or are you just a certified welder?
Certified welder.
Okay. And do you belong to a union?
No, I do not.
Okay. And this company, you've essentially not doing much welding anymore, is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. You said electrical. Do you do electrical for the most part, or what is the company's focus?
We have a lot of different licenses: welding, general contracting, electrical. They kind of shifted me into the electrical position because they had an opening as a supervisor, and I started off there. After I was doing the welding, they moved me in. I started there, and basically just kind of moved my way up to running the whole division, pulling all the permits essentially for the whole company.
Okay. And is that permits valley-wide?
Yes.
Okay. And how many people do you have that report to you?
7.
What is your hours?
I start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I get off around 3:30 every day, Monday through Friday.
And your daughter is Nicole, correct?
Yes.
And do you take Nicole to school?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you're able to get her there and get her home?
Yes. Every day.
And that's something that you undertake?
Yep.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Last almost 2 years now.
Okay. According to the court record, on November 16, 2020, you filed a complaint for custody.
Correct.
What was the events that brought up that complaint for custody?
It was just nothing really set in stone, and sometimes I'd want Nicole, and her mom would have other plans with family. so she would withhold her at times from me. Like holidays, for example, Christmas, she'd spend with her mom. I wouldn't get any Christmas time with her.
And so you initiated the complaint for custody, correct?
Correct.
And mostly just to get things set in stone.
Yes.
And was withholding a frequent occasion over the course of Nicole's life?
Yes.
Is there any particular reason why the withholding was occurring?
None that I could think of, no.
Okay. And you were in a relationship with Ms. Maxwell, correct?
Yes, I was.
When did that relationship end?
I would say December of 2012.
And how long did that relationship last before?
Approximately 3 years.
Okay. And that's right around the time that Nicole was born, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so your relationship with Nicole, well, I'll strike that, I'm sorry. You brought the complaint to try and get something solidified, but the case has turned into obviously something different than what your complaint originally stated, is that correct?
Correct.
And what brought that on?
I guess there was a history of drug use from before that we both partaked in. I've been clean for 10 years. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. After we filed our motions, it was deemed that we both go take drug tests. And so I came back clean. She didn't show up. She was given another chance, didn't show up. And then she was put on the patch. So the drug use kind of came to light, and it seems like it's been quite a history of it. And I just want the best for Nicole. She's a kid and deserves the best. And that's where we are now.
Who brought up the drug use originally at the first motion hearing that you had after you filed your complaint for custody?
Todd Leventhal requested that I go down and take a drug test.
So it was the defendant's counsel that
Correct.
brought up all the talk about drugs, is that correct? Okay. Did you have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Maxwell regarding why she didn't go to ATI back then?
I haven't really asked her why she did not go.
How is your communication with her at this time?
Pretty rocky.
Okay. And is that based on, well, let me ask you, do you think that's based on the case, the tone of the case, or is that based on parenting styles or something else outside of what's going on here?
I think for some reason she's under the impression that I'm taking Nicole from her, and that's not the case. My original motion was for everything to be split.
And certainly that has evolved, correct, at this
Correct.
point? And do you think that once you get a resolution, because you've been at this almost 2 years now, is that
Yes.
correct? That maybe the tone and the tension will die down, or do you think it's going to get worse?
I hope it dies down for Nicole's sake. She loves her mom just as much as she loves her dad. You know?
Now, you've heard quite a bit of testimony this morning, full morning full of testimony regarding methamphetamines. Is Ms. Maxwell, has she used methamphetamines in the past?
Yes, she has.
Have you witnessed that?
Yes, I have.
How far back would that go?
13 years.
And currently, based on the evidence that you've seen and the information you have, does she continue to use it?
Yes, she does.
Any doubt in your mind?
Nope.
Do you, in your employment, are you drug tested?
Yeah, I am constantly drug tested because I actually drive company vehicles. So we are subject to randoms.
So it being random, do you have a frequency per year, how frequently you're tested, do you know?
I would say probably somewhere between 8 to 12 times a year.
Okay. And as far as your driving, you drive company vehicles, is that correct?
Yes.
How's your driving record?
Perfect.
Okay. Is that monitored by your work?
Yes, it is.
Have you ever had any problems with tickets or anything that might have caused you a problem at work?
No, I have not.
Now, have you? Let's talk a little bit about Nicole. Can you tell me a little bit about? Can you tell the court, I guess, a little bit about Nicole?
Nicole is quite the character. I think that she's really involved in cheer and school activities. She just tried out for track yesterday. She's starting to really thrive in school. Kind of took a while after COVID and kind of the change of the household. Kind of put a little bit of a stress on her, but she's starting to come through like big time, and I'm really impressed with her. We go on bike rides when I come home from work. She's into the Aces. We go to basketball games.
That little girl isn't. Let me interrupt for a second here. I realize that temporarily I gave you sole legal custody, but have you bothered to try to discuss with Mom cheer and track with Mom to see what she thought of these?
Actually, her mom or grandmother paid for her cheer.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're
Alright.
involved.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank you.
And I'll cut you off. Does she attend the cheer practices?
I don't think they really let any of the parents in right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But has she been there from time to time?
Yes, she has.
Okay. And you've observed Ms. Maxwell there at outside of cheer practices?
Correct.
Okay. And you understand that Mom has been ordered to be supervised on visits, is that correct?
Correct.
Has she always been supervised at the cheer practices?
Now, so there's two different cheers. She was in competition cheer last year, and I did witness her at one of the cheer not competitions, but practices, unsupervised, when I arrived.
That caused you concerns?
Yes, because there's a court order for supervision.
And has Ms. Maxwell always, has she always followed every other court order?
No, she has not.
Okay. Would you say that she follows the judge's orders?
No, she does not.
Okay. And has that been your experience?
Yes, it has.
Has she missed more than the 2 drug test requests that you've indicated?
I can't even keep counting anymore. It's been quite a few drug
Be
tests.
more than 10?
Yes.
When you walked out of court back in January 2021, I think that was your first court hearing, right around that time. Were you referred to American Toxicology Institute, also known as ATI?
Yes, I was.
Was there any question in your mind that you were referred to ATI?
At first, it wasn't real clear, and then I went back and once I seen the court order that was issued to me, I knew where to go.
So on the court order, it said where to go?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's 2 ATIs. I went to the wrong one first, but I still made it to the other one on time.
Okay. The you talked a little bit about Nicole's. She's active in track now.
She just tried out for track.
Okay. And so is she participating in that, or is that just kind of you're not sure?
We're not sure yet, but she did make the cheer team at school, and she did make a dance team at school, and she does have to have good attendance and good grades in order to participate in those programs.
Okay. And who says?
The director of the school, the principal.
Okay. Does she want to go to the Aces parade tonight?
Yeah, if we get out of here in time.
Okay. You said Nicole definitely loves her mom, right?
Yes, she does.
No question in your
No
mind?
question in my mind.
Okay. And if given the choice, I mean, how old is she?
She's 9 years old.
Okay. Probably too young to formulate an opinion with regard to where she lives, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But she's doing well with you?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And in the past, Mom has denied visits, correct?
Yes, she is.
And any particular reason why she did that?
No. Besides, she had her own plans already.
What about you? I mean, how have you been able, since the court's order granting you primary custody, what have you done and what efforts have you made to try and involve Mom in Nicole's life?
We go to cheers competitions at times. Pretty much stick to the court order. There have been a couple occasions where she lost some family relatives, and I kind of bent a little bit on the visitation so she could spend time with her family.
So you gave up additional time
Yeah, as well as Nicole.
at her request.
Yeah.
And with regard to schooling, are you on Infinite Campus?
Yes, I am.
Is that the program that's used at her school?
Yes, it is.
Okay, is Mom on?
That I don't know.
Okay. So she hasn't indicated to you that she is?
No.
How did Nicole do while she was in school before custody was placed with you?
I actually received a truancy note after she had moved in with me, and the mailing address had been changed. She did have excessive absences, and her grades weren't the best, and excessive tardies.
Did that truancy note, did that concern you?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Any concerns about that at this point?
Oh, no, no.
With regard to an ongoing conflict, do you think, between you and Ms. Maxwell with regard to Nicole?
Is there an ongoing conflict?
Yeah, you feel like you just can't get along or
No,
communicate?
no.
Do you have any problems with that whatsoever?
At times it's a little rocky, but like I said, I think that there's tension because she feels that I'm taking Nicole from her, and that's not the approach.
Has Mom been, I guess Nicole, or not Nicole, sorry, has Ms. Maxwell been entirely cooperative with regard to Nicole since you've had primary custody?
As far as cooperating,
Well, let me ask you this. Has she created any problems at school?
no.
Okay. Has she created any problems anywhere else in your life?
We did go to a dance practice when she was in dance off of Sahara, and there was a court order at that time. She took Nicole out of my car and took off with her and left.
What about doctor's appointments? Have you been able to get Nicole to the doctor?
Yes.
When you said she took you out of your car, where did she go?
I don't know. She took off and left.
When did you get Nicole back?
A couple days later.
And when was this?
It was when I think it was like 4 days. We were rotating. It wasn't quite Seoul yet at that time, but it was on my timeshare. This was about a year and a half ago.
Has Ms. Maxwell ever canceled any of Nicole's medical appointments?
That I had made?
Yes.
No.
Okay. How would you characterize your relationship with Nicole?
Nicole, it's really good. She's a good kid. We actually went camping this weekend, spent some time together. She likes, like I said, going on bike rides after school. We focus on our homework. We have a great relationship.
I'm going to ask you if you look at the exhibit book right now, and if you look at GS 1.001, Greg.
Okay.
Can you identify that for the court?
Yes, that is a text message from Miss Maxwell.
Is that, and who's it to?
It was to me.
Is this a true and correct copy of that text message?
Yes, it is.
Is this during the pendency of this case?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, Your Honor, at this time we'd move to admit this page of the exhibit, GS 1.001.
I'm going to object as a foundation. It doesn't have a date. Just during the pendency, it's a 2-year pendency. We need more specifics.
Yeah, let's get a little bit more specificity
Do you
on
remember
that
when you
one.
received this?
I don't have an exact date now.
Okay. Do you know what it may have been in reference to?
Obviously, the giving up dirty patches to options.
Okay. So it had something to do with the time that she was signed to the patch?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
Roughly a year and a half ago.
Your Honor, at this time we'd move to admit.
Same objection.
I think I'm going to go ahead and admit it because we know it was during the pendency of the action due to the patch program, unless Mom's been on the patch program at some other point other than when I ordered her for it. So I'm going to allow it.
What is
Exhibit
the-
GS1?
GS
It was 1, right?
GS 1.001.
GS 1.001.
Has the patch always been I mean, since the pendency of this action, the patch being ordered, has that been a source of conflict between you and Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, it is.
Why?
She claims that they're not dirty
Okay.
and won't admit to her use.
And here in this text, she tells you that kids are being taken away from parents wrongfully because of the patch, correct?
Correct.
Does she believe that?
Obviously so, yes.
Okay.
Just the one page.
Now, did she ever indicate to you that she was going to prove that the patch was wrong?
Yes, she did.
What page
Okay.
number?
I'm going to ask you to look at, well, since pendency of this action, have you lied to the court?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Does Ms. Maxwell believe that you're lying to the court?
I don't know if she does or not.
Let me ask you, Greg, on GS 1.005, I'm going to ask you to look at that exhibit. Do you remember when you received this, well, can you identify that for the court?
This is a text message from Kristen Maxwell to me,
Okay, do you remember when you received this?
roughly about a year and a half ago as well.
Okay, that's at 12:20 a.m.
Cor-
down there at the bottom.
Yes,
And it's a true and correct copy of the text message you received from Ms. Maxwell to you.
yes it is.
Your Honor, at this time we move to admit
Which one?
GS 1.005.
Any objection?
Relevance.
Oh, well, we'll demonstrate the relevance, Your Honor. It just goes to show that Ms. Maxwell is requesting a paternity test. Nicole's 6 at this time, 7. And
How long had she been receiving child support, or had she, even at this point?
to my knowledge, she's been receiving it for quite some time and was now going for the throat of Greg here.
I think the relevance shows how hard she fought to try to keep the child away from dad. I think. I mean, I haven't read it, so I don't know. So I'm going to allow it.
Okay, just so I know,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I've had to do this before, it's more a question for counsel. He seems to be admitting individual pages of the exhibit.
I know.
Are we gonna do that throughout, or?
No, just this first.
This first
Just number
exhibit?
1.
Okay.
Just number 1.
Look, I've been there, I get it, okay?
Yeah.
I just wanna know, so, cause I'm marking them individually as opposed to.
Well, it took me forever to find the first one, so
But
you know
just
we had
number-
already moved to the second one.
Just exhibit 1.
Okay, so we are going to allow Exhibit GS 1.005.
That's correct, Your Honor. Okay. And Greg, do you recall receiving that this text from Ms. Maxwell?
Yes I do.
How'd that make you feel?
Empty inside?
That ever been raised before that you were not Nicole's dad?
No. Never is.
And she indicates that she was having, I guess there, she says she was having a relationship with somebody else at that time.
Yes.
Did you know anything about that?
No, did not.
So this was all new to you, essentially, during the pendency of this action?
Yes it was.
Okay. But there down below, though, she tells you not to worry, correct?
Correct.
What'd she tell you?
Don't worry, if you're not her real dad, I wouldn't take her away from you because I really love Nicole. And to her, you will always be her dad. I just want to know for sure.
Okay. She ever pursue that to find out?
No, she has not.
Okay. Any doubt in your mind you're Nicole's dad?
No.
Okay. Unquestionable to you?
Yeah.
My understanding is in subsequent court action, she didn't deny it, correct? This was just a text that she sent to you?
Correct.
Okay. Greg, I'm going to ask you if you'd look at Exhibit 2, and specifically GS 2.001, Exhibit 2.
Okay.
Can you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
Minutes from a previous criminal case with Miss Maxwell.
Okay, that's not my Exhibit 2.
It's yours.
How about that?
I just glanced. I know it was a
Okay.
case summary, but that's all I know.
How about that? Oh,
Is this what you're after?
yeah.
Okay.
Is that exhibit? She is.
It's more, it's in
Well, it's
exhibit one, but it's,
1.011.
yeah.
Sorry. Your Honor, I'm sorry, the way that these exhibits went in this first exhibit group, I do believe this is, it's a letter from Matthew W. Jackson, a few pages back, Greg.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure how to label that.
It's GS 2.001.
Yeah, that's the number, the base number down at the bottom. Your Honor, I don't know if you see that particular exhibit,
You should
but
have changed it to make it exhibit 1 to 1.0.
it would be 1.011.
Instead of 2.001.
Yes.
Okay, what should it be?
GS 1.011 is what the
Okay.
bait number should be.
How are you making that change?
I am good.
Alright. So I am going to move that into exhibit 1.
And it's just the two, you need the number that it's listed on the bottom, Mr. Harris?
The number is GS 2.001.
Okay, 2.0, we'll move it into, okay, thank you, Judge.
So Greg, do you see that from Gilbert?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You do
I
have the
put
right
the wrong
list.
one on there. Hold on, I did the wrong one. I did the case. Is this the Register of Actions?
No.
No,
it's a
no.
letter. So it's the wrong one that I said.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
which
all
one
the
is
rest
it?
of us, our books have it in exhibit 1.
Yeah.
And that they have subsequently changed it to 1.011 in the
I
exhibit book.
don't think I have that.
I don't either.
And
Yeah, it's 2 pages prior to the exhibit, may I approach, Your Honor?
yes, please.
Okay.
It is this page here.
Okay. All right.
Which one?
You may have it back.
Oh,
This one.
I really don't.
Okay, okay.
All right.
You have it right, Greg?
All right.
Yep.
Is
got
true
it.
and correct copy of that, the letter?
Yes, it is.
1.011.
And this is a letter that you received,
Yes, it is.
and you received it from Gilbert
Yes, I did.
Elementary School, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, this time we move to admit exhibit GS 1.011.
I'm gonna object, it's hearsay. It's a letter from a third party.
It's definitely a school record of Nicole, Your Honor, very relevant to this action. Indicates the information about the child's schooling, and it's a business record kept in the ordinary course of Gilbert Elementary School.
I do recognize the fact that it is kept as a business record of the school, so I'm going to allow it.
Just to make a record, it clearly is a letter, not a business record. It's signed sincerely at the bottom. So I don't want to tie up the court, I just want to make the record of
That's
why I
fine.
disagree.
Okay, is this truancy a letter that you received from Nicole's school?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and this is the record that caused you concerns, correct?
Yes, it is.
And there, the absences, how many?
It shows here 15 for AM homeroom and 16 for PM homeroom.
And whose care and custody was Nicole in during that time period?
It was her mom. She was with her mom.
Okay. How was Nicole's schooling at that time?
Her grades were pretty bad.
Okay. Greg, I'm going to ask you if you look at Exhibit 2, now the Exhibit 2, the Register of Actions. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Is this a true and correct copy of the Register of Actions?
Yes, it is.
And who is it on?
This is a court document for minutes in a case related to Kristen Maxwell.
Okay. And, Your Honor, at this time we move to admit Exhibit 2.
Objection is irrelevant. While it is a criminal case, it's more than 10 years on a felony. It's not going to be germane to the present case. Additionally, Your Honor, this is not the court records, it's the Register of Action. While they might have wanted to produce the judgment of conviction, that's not what this is.
Your Honor, with regard to that, I agree with counsel.
I do too.
However, We're not offering this to prove the matter asserted. This is being offered to show long-term use, and the minutes specifically at pages 2.005 through 2.007, which show minutes there of the court, again, not offered to prove the matter asserted, but would show that Ms. Maxwell had tested positive for methamphetamine back in 2012 under court order with in-court testing.
I
Counsel is now
don't see-
testifying and introducing evidence.
I do not see how testing positive 10 years ago is relevant to today, because people do have the ability to get clean and stay clean. So I'm going to not allow it.
Understood, Your Honor. We believe that it is relevant with regard to your court's order, Your Honor's orders previously, that this is long-term use and was actually substantiated by Dr. Kadesian with regard to his findings. And that's why we believe it to be
Again, counsel's
relevant.
now testifying to put evidence on the record. It's inappropriate.
Yeah, well, you know me. If it's not properly there, it goes over my head.
Greg, if you look at Exhibit 3, what's Exhibit 3?
Exhibit 3 is some photographs of me and Nicole throughout the years.
And these photographs are true and correct copies of you and Nicole, correct?
Yes.
Stipulate to admission to 3.
Very good.
Yay, we got one without an argument.
Perfect. Greg? Exhibit
Hold on,
4.
which one? Oh, she's so cute. I'm sorry, she's a doll.
Greg delivered photographs of Nicole. So, Exhibit 4, Greg, what does Exhibit 4 demonstrate?
This is her medical records, dental records.
Is this during the time that you have had custody of Nicole,
Yes, it is.
and you've been able to get her to the doctor and to the dentist? Is that correct?
Correct.
And these records are true and correct copies of those records for medical treatment and dental treatment of Nicole during the time period, correct?
Yes.
Stipulate to admission to 4.
Perfect.
Number 4 is in.
Is Nicole healthy at this time, Greg?
Yes, she is.
Does she have any medical needs or anything that are not being met?
No, she does not.
Do you know what was going on with her medical treatment prior to you being awarded temporary custody in this case?
She did have a lot of cavities and a lot of silver teeth.
I'm going to object. This is facts, not in evidence. They could have brought medical records.
They're in this exhibit.
She said silver. He said silver teeth, correct?
The
Yes.
caps, yeah.
Okay, so that was prior to you. So if you're trying to show that she was ignoring her medical, that shows otherwise.
Okay.
So, you know, I may allow that.
Okay.
You know,
Greg, I'm going to ask you if you look at Exhibit 5, if you can identify that for the court.
Okay. These are her report cards from the end of last year. And .504 plan from last year.
Those are true and correct copies of school records for Nicole, is that
Yes,
correct?
they are.
Your Honor, at this time we've moved to admit Exhibit 5.
All of it?
Yes.
I don't think you can get 7, 8, and 9 in through.
Okay.
You get, when you get
No, I'll
it in,
say 7 and
no,
8,
you'll,
9.
you'll get it in through her, so it wouldn't matter. So no objection.
okay, exhibit, which one are we on?
5.
5 is admitted.
Greg, just on page 5.001, the first page of Exhibit 5,
Yes.
you see that there, right?
Yes.
I see there that, is this for the entirety of the school year 2021 through 2022?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and the information, her grades are there, is that correct?
Correct.
Do those show an improvement over the prior year?
Yes, they do.
Okay. I'm going to ask you also there, at her days absent, those are indicated there as well, is that correct?
Correct.
And are those improved from the prior year?
Yes, they are.
How about tardies?
Yes. Yes, she had 0 tardies.
It's no tardies
No tardies at all.
for the whole year.
Correct.
And who's taken her to school all year, last calendar school year?
I have them.
Is that a priority in your household? Did she get there on time?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that reflected in her school record of as far as her grades?
Yes, they have improved drastically.
And the time that you spend with her, what is that every day with regard to her schooling?
We come home usually, and she will jump into her homework. Usually she'll have a snack first, and then jump into her homework.
And she does have a 504 plan.
Yes, she does. Whether that's needed, I don't agree.
What's your opinion now?
I think that I think that COVID had a big impact on a lot of kids. I see drastic changes, and even text messages I'm receiving through Class Dojo from her current teacher, how much that she's improved. Her new map scores are like off the charts compared to last year's.
I'm gonna
She's
object,
just
these are facts, not an evidence.
It's showing that we've got a child who's doing good in school. I don't know. Mom may be testifying later on that she helps Mom during her time. I don't know. I just know that I'm glad to hear that the child is doing good.
Previously, I think
Are they cooperating to meet the needs of the child? That's what's important to me.
previously the records indicated there on page 1 that she was in the 4th percentile and the 6th percentile of her math scores. Is that correct?
Correct.
She's doing a lot better now?
Yes.
And Mom has access to Dojo as well, correct?
Yes, she does.
And Infinite Campus, right?
As far as I know.
And that's up to date, correct?
Yes.
Do you have that on your phone?
Yep.
When was the last time you looked at it?
Prior to coming back in here.
Is that something you look at frequently?
I do.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was his testimony that her math scores were doing good? Was it math scores?
Map.
Math?
Math,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, because I'm sitting here looking at D's for math.
No.
So,
Sorry, Your Honor, MAP, map,
Okay.
map
All right.
scores.
and those are not in here to show really what they are?
No, they just actually came out for this year, probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
It's called a map growth assessment,
all right.
and it's there on the right side commentary of the semester 1 and semester 2, Your Honor. On
Okay.
page 1 of Exhibit 5.
You want me to look at that small print, huh?
No, just
This
indicate
old
that.
lady looking at that, that's...
Would you like to end this 504, Greg?
I've kind of just been leaving it in place for the time being, but I think it's going to come to an end pretty quick. She's really doing good.
Do you know who started it?
I believe it was in the process, kind of around the same time that the court case came to light. I wasn't really informed of it until the end of last year.
You didn't initiate it, is that right?
No.
Okay. Did the absences have anything to do with it?
I believe they did, yes.
Greg, I'm going to ask you, as far as Nicole's needs, does she have any needs that aren't currently being met in your household?
No, she does not.
And in your home, are drugs being used?
No, absolutely not.
Would those be present in the environment anywhere?
No, absolutely not.
And is she exposed to anything like that while she's with you?
Absolutely not.
And she doesn't. You don't have any other children, do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, do they have a relationship with Nicole?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And what is their age again? They're older. Is that
Yeah, my son is 20. He'll be 21 in January. He's got a family of his own, newborn baby. And my daughter is 17. She'll be 18 next month.
Do they live nearby?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And what's their relationship with Nicole like?
They're great. Nicole loves her sister, her older sister. Her older sister loves her. Same thing with her brother. She's more closer to her sister, I guess you could say. Her brother's got his own thing going on family-wise. But they do interact. We have birthday parties and stuff like that at the house. Christmas time, as a family. They'll come over and they'll all spend time together. Pretty solid relationship.
As far as what you believe, what are you asking for the court to order?
I'm asking for sole physical, sole legal custody, and I want the supervision to remain in place. Kind of put some incentive behind Mom. I don't think that, I think Nicole is still a child and she shouldn't be exposed to adult themes, and she's got a long life ahead of her.
Describe adult themes
Drug
or
use.
define it. Okay.
Drug use.
And has Nicole, I guess, do you know, are you aware, has she seen things that probably a child should not have seen based upon her mother's drug use?
Objection calls for hearsay.
I'm asking,
Sustained.
are you concerned about Nicole's well-being when she's with the care and custody of her mom if she's unsupervised?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because there could be drug use going on, and I don't think that Nicole needs to be subjected to that kind of environment or those kind of things.
Have you witnessed Ms. Maxwell acting erratic when she's under the influence?
Occasionally, I'll get text messages one after another out of nowhere.
Sometimes in the middle of the night,
Correct.
12:20 at night, telling you you're not Nicole's dad, those types of text messages?
Yes.
Okay. Is that an ongoing theme with Ms. Maxwell? Does that happen frequently?
On and off, yes.
Does that create concerns for you about Nicole?
Yes, it does.
Have you seen improvements, I guess just in Nicole's mental well-being since she's been under your roof?
Drastically, yes.
Can you describe those for the court?
She's just changed. Like, the school, she seemed like she wasn't catching on. She was falling behind. And things have slowly gotten better over the time. She's thriving. At first, she just kind of wasn't used to everything, but now she's pulling through. Like I said, we go on bike rides and spend time together, go on camping trips. Any second I have on the weekends, we pretty much do fun things together.
And you don't have a lot of weekends though, correct?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. And so what are you requesting from the court with regard to your current timeshare that's been ordered?
I'm requesting an extra weekend. Mom can have her in exchange, maybe Tuesday after school till Thursday after school as well, for an extra weekend.
But you'd like that time that you alternate, that be supervised with mom, correct?
Correct.
And who do you believe is an appropriate supervisor?
Sonia Maxwell, her mother.
As far as the child tax credit, what should happen with that?
I believe that if she's with me majority of the time, that I should be able to get her on my taxes.
Have you received any support from Ms. Maxwell during the pendency of this action while you've had care and custody of Nicole?
No, I have not. No.
Nothing?
No, I've asked several times for her to help out with a pair of shoes for school. I still haven't seen those.
Apparently her mother has paid for cheerleading, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, have they paid for other extracurriculars?
Dance, a year and a half ago, dance. She was in dance class.
And is that Ms. Maxwell or is that her mother?
I'm not too sure. I believe it's her mother.
Okay. Ms. Maxwell hasn't volunteered any support or anything for Nicole, has she, over the course of the last how long?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
Okay. Has Ms. Maxwell volunteered any support for Nicole?
No, she has not.
And you haven't received a penny during the pendency of this action?
No, I have not.
Same objection, Your Honor.
Stop
He's
leading,
feeding
please.
the answer.
Although I think we're all kind of guilty of those things.
You indicated you want to provide an incentive to Ms. Maxwell, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Has she had that up until now?
She's had several chances.
Has she taken advantage of them?
Yes, she has. As far as, she hasn't done what the courts are asking, but she's taken advantage of the courts, yes.
Okay. Or a question on my part. Are you trying to punish her?
No, I'm not.
Let me ask you a question. If Mom was to go through the patch program and give us 12 clean patches, would you still want sole legal, sole physical custody, or would you be willing to give her joint physical
I would
custody?
be willing to go joint, because it's just been dragging on for 2 years now, Your Honor.
Okay.
She's had plenty of chances. I want to see her succeed. I want to see her be there for Nicole.
Okay.
So,
Has that always been your position?
yes, it has.
Greg, do you believe that this timeshare that you have proposed is in Nicole's best interest.
Yes, I do.
Why do you believe that it is in her best interest that this be the order moving forward?
I just feel that she's doing better in school. She's thriving more, and I just don't want her to be subject. I want her to, she's still a little girl, I want her to have a life, and I don't want her to be subject to drug use. That's why I think that this is the best order that it is now.
And with that, do you know if she has any, I guess, lofty goals or things that she would like to, things she'd like to do currently with her life? I know she's quite young.
Yeah, since the Aces won the
Your Honor,
championship.
I'm gonna object, it's hearsay. They could have done a 16-205.
I'm not asking what she said. I never asked what she said.
To
I
your
just asked if
knowledge,
she
does
knows.
she have any goals?
Mhm.
That's hearsay.
That would be hearsay. That would be hearsay. So I'm going to have to exclude it. I'm going to sustain.
Fair enough. Okay.
I guess none of us knows what her goals will be, will we?
We'll never know. The,
Other than to grow up, hopefully.
and you
I don't.
want
I
to
can't even say that because I don't want to grow up. Go ahead.
Are you being overprotective, do you think, or trying to insulate her from the things of the world?
No, I protect her. It's, not that I'm overly protective.
No question about it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, Greg. I have no further questions. I am. Thank you so much.
How are you this afternoon,
You
Greg?
good? How you doing, Mr. Grimes?
You know, we've talked in the hallway, it's stressful, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Let's start at the end of your testimony. You stated that you want sole legal, sole physical custody, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Your complaint that you filed in this action states that you want joint legal, joint physical.
Correct.
Have you amended your complaint?
No, I have not.
Have you sought to amend your complaint?
No, I have not.
Okay. So as we sit here doing this trial, your complaint and pleading requests joint legal, joint physical, correct?
I'm requesting sole physical, so
Your pleadings request joint legal, joint physical,
the
correct?
paperwork I filed, yes. Correct.
All right, let's go to your Exhibit 5, specifically GS, GS 5003, the 504.
Okay.
Sometimes going backwards, your notes don't make sense. Okay, this is your daughter's 504 plan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You stated on direct that this was initiated by Kristen, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I want you to look where it says father, guardian, has your name. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
So you were involved with this process, correct?
It actually was initiated, like, I want to say 2 years ago, if not more. Because she had been, pre-COVID, this was initiated.
Okay.
So I had just got the informed of it towards the end of last school year. And
You were
that's when
informed
I
you were
kind of,
involved with the process, correct?
at the end of last school year, that's when it first came to my attention.
You now think the 504 should go away?
I'm really watching it very carefully. She's starting to come around and her grades are dramatically changing.
Kristen asked you to allow your daughter, sorry, I don't like calling her your daughter, to have Nicole evaluated for a learning disability, correct?
For dyslexia? Correct.
Well, she wanted her evaluated, correct?
Correct.
You refused that, didn't you?
No, I did not. That is not true.
You refused to sign the the papers to permit the evaluation, didn't you?
No, I did not.
So why hasn't she been evaluated for a learning disability?
She has been evaluated for a learning disability through a physician.
Okay. Let's talk about attendance. Can we go to GS 5001? Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. And your daughter's been with you during this grading period, correct?
This is from last year, yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you know how many absences during your time?
Yeah, she had 12 absences. Yeah.
But no tardies?
No tardies.
You pointed that one out, but we kind of skipped right over the absences, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay. Also, early outs, you're pulling her out of school early, correct?
I have for doctor's appointments, yes.
Now, talked about the MAP assessment. Do you know what the MAP assessment is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Then I would like you to look at semester 2 comments. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So first they talk about her MAP assessment in reading. Can you read for the court what percentile she's in?
She was in the sixth. She was. Keyword was in the 6th percentile.
Okay? And that's well below the average, isn't that what
Yeah.
it continues?
Yes.
In writing, how does she do?
I'm not seeing the writing on here.
I'm not seeing a score, but she doesn't meet the standard, correct?
No, she did not meet the standard.
Okay. In science, what percentage was she in?
She was in the 5th percentile.
And in math, what percentage was she
The
in?
3rd percentile.
Okay. So the reality is your daughter's struggling
Not anymore.
in learning, correct?
She was struggling, correct.
Okay. According to this report, at the end of her 3rd grade year, she was struggling with school, correct?
She was, like a lot of students due to COVID and
Okay.
other ongoing issues. Remote learning.
Do you think your daughter's intelligent?
She's very intelligent.
Do you find her mature for her age?
Yes. Yeah.
So why don't you believe she's old enough to have presented her opinion regarding what she would like?
She's still 9 years old.
So you don't think a 9-year-old should have the ability to at least express their desires?
I don't think she has the ability to express who she wants to be with without exposing her to her mom's drug use or anything like that.
So you wanted to talk about Kristen's drug use. The fact
Correct.
is, you've used drugs in the past,
Oh,
correct?
absolutely, no denying it.
In fact, you went to prison for it. Well, for
Absolutely.
possession.
I'll never, ever, ever, ever go back. I won't look back because of Nicole. She needs me.
And as we sit here today, you've rehabilitated, correct?
Yes, I have.
All right, let me ask you a question. What would you do if somebody put you on the patch and it was coming up dirty?
What would I do? I wouldn't have to worry.
Objection, Your Honor, that's
It's a
a hypothetical.
hypothetical, absolutely.
It's
I
an
can ask you
improper
that.
hypothetical because it's not happening.
That's actually the allegation you guys are making on my client.
Actually, it isn't.
It isn't.
Okay.
The allegation is your client is using drugs.
All right. You filed this complaint November 2021, correct?
Correct.
Objection.
20, you're right, November 2020.
Thank you.
Okay, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm
And you
sitting around
stated that that was
objecting.
because Kristen was withholding Nicole from you. Is that
At
correct?
times, yeah. And there was nothing set in place or in stone.
Okay. How old is Nicole?
Nicole, at that time, was 7,
How old is she now?
9.
Okay. So 7 years you didn't try to get something in concrete?
She's worked with me throughout the time. It's just, at certain times, my parents come into town and we want to spend time with Nicole, say around Christmas. There would be times that we would be denied that time.
Okay. And that's the only reason you filed this complaint?
I just want everything solidified and set in stone.
Okay.
So there
Isn't it
can't be any of
true
that going on.
that you were served with papers in your child support case in October, just before you filed, asserting that the state was going to seek an increase in your child support?
I have been paying child support all along, and yes, I did receive.
How much
it.
were you paying prior to
I
November?
don't know offhand. I think it was $27 a week, plus I had to carry her medical insurance.
Okay. And you received notice in October, less than a month before you filed this complaint,
Okay,
that you were facing an increase in child support, correct?
correct?
And in fact, they told you it was going to be over $700 a month now, didn't they?
I don't recall how
Okay.
much it was.
And that's why you filed this complaint?
That is
correct?
not why I filed that. It's not true.
Okay. And you mentioned you have 2 older children.
Yes, I do.
You never had custody of those either, did you?
No. I'm actually still married to the mother.
But the children do not live with you,
They
correct?
have lived
You
with
have
me.
one that's a minor. She doesn't live with you, reside with you.
She's staying with her grandma at this time, working full time.
So that would be a no.
They've lived with me throughout the course, yes. I had her all of 8th grade, and I had my son living with me throughout high school.
Okay, one of the things you testified to was that the communication between you and Kristen was rocky.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you recall that testimony?
Yep.
That's a two-way street though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
In fact, not too long ago, you told her that after today she was gonna lose her baby as well, didn't you?
I said she could lose her baby.
Okay? You also told her that you were contacting CPS when she gave birth to the baby, didn't
That
you?
is not true.
You didn't say that to her.
I did not say that to her, no. That is not true.
I really don't know the answer to this one. I hate asking these questions, but I gotta ask it. You say you had a perfect driving record.
Correct.
I always like to ask this question. Does that mean that you went in and got it changed to a parking ticket, or you really haven't even gotten a ticket?
I mean, I've had a speeding ticket before, but I can't remember when the last time I had one was.
Me either, because I get them all changed to parking tickets. But I just wondered.
I can tell you exactly when the last time I got one.
I might get more.
It was,
I might have paid a lot of parking tickets. Just wanted.
I couldn't get out of that because I had a wreck as well.
All right. Going back to your Exhibit 5 on the attendance, you said that her attendance is much better. In fact, it's pretty much the same with the 12 absences, correct?
I'm looking at the year before, I'm showing 39 and a half absences on that GS 5.002. And 28 tardies. And that's when she was with her mom.
Let's look.
27. Is that what you said?
GS 5.002. She
School
had
year-
30, actually I'm sorry, 39 and a half absences and
Where's that say
28 tardies.
39 and a half? I
No.
see 27 for 19.
Actually, let's look again, because it makes it easier. But at 1920,
Well, I'm
she had
looking at
15
the-
absences,
I'm looking at
correct?
the total. Yeah.
Okay? 2021, that would be the COVID year.
Sorry.
17 and a half, that was the year you got the truancy letter, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Isn't it true that 5 of those
17, there we go.
were at your request to go camping?
No.
No. Okay.
27 tardies.
So, first grade, you didn't take her out 5 days to go camping?
No.
Okay.
In first grade?
And by the way, the first COVID year, you don't
The
think
first
that there was a lot of students who had attendance with the new online school and that transition?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Calls for, is it, in your opinion, do you think it might have been a problem district-wide?
She objects to irrelevant to Nicole.
I'm going to overrule it.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Don't you think there was an issue with a lot of children being able to transition and get into online school?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, some other students I can't speak on their behalf, but for Nicole, she was right into online learning.
How would you know that? Because, I mean, first you were saying that this was mom's time, so how would you know she went right into online learning if she was with mom?
Her whole school, I have Class Dojo and Infinite Campus, and she didn't have a problem getting into online learning when they went back into...
No, they got getting into it, but getting into it mentally.
Yeah, mentally, no. I thought we were referring to the absences.
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes the absences has a lot to do with her mental ability to get into online learning.
I think a lot of
I
kids.
think a lot of kids were
Yeah.
having a hard time mentally doing it, so a lot of them had a lot of absences.
Right.
Would that be safe to say that?
Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Now, you testified on direct, your schedule is 7 a.m. to 3:30, correct?
Correct.
What time does Gilbert Elementary start?
Gilbert Elementary starts